Pronto, quando sei in Ghana devi ascoltare solo a Chris Kwabna. Yeah, banana from Ghana. Yeah, we in the building.
Hello, lovely people worldwide. This is Queen Star, Emily from YOLO. Keep listening to the main man, Chris Copley.
Hey, what's up, people of Ghana? This your boy Ernie that you keep listening to Chris Copley.
Yeah, this your boy JB, aka Drogba, aka Destroying Things. Keep listening to Chris Pabla, the main man.
Hey, you are welcome to the Chris K podcast. I know you've been enjoying the groove. Yeah, I intentionally kept it this long so you could just enjoy and dance to the Ghanaian tune. Once again, you're welcome to the Chris K podcast. My name is Christopher Komla Agbaga, and I must say that I'm super excited for how far the podcast has come. Last week we went in Geneva. It was amazing. Now we're back in GH. Yeah, we're back to the motherland. But I believe that everybody now has a clear idea or a clear understanding as to what the health segment right here on the Chris K podcast is going to be touching on. Non-communicable diseases. Today we are going to be getting into the whole NCD Alliance and what the NCD Alliance is, as well as the the advocacy agenda for the NCD Alliance. But before then, we are going to get into sports, and of course the Rise Above It series is going to come amidst good music right here on the Chris K podcast. So without wasting much time, we get right into the sports segment. The man Yakubu Ibrahim is ready, coming our way with a sports segment right here on the Chris K podcast. Let's get right into it.
Hello, lovely people. Welcome to the sports segment on the Chris K show. My name is Yakubu Ibrahim. You can call me Citizen Rasto. On today's program, we'll be looking at Accra's folks signing a new player, Samuel Inkum, banned by FIFA for the second time, and the big issue: Ghana President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has ordered for the arrest of GFA President Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi. Now, let's quickly get to our first story. Former Ghana international Samuel Inkum has been hit with a fresh 1-year ban by FIFA after defaulting to pay an agent that he cheated way back in 2014. In June 2017, the former Kumasi Asante Kotoko player was ordered to pay an amount of $65,000 to this said agent or face a 1-year ban. Inkum then failed to pay this said amount and he was banned by FIFA. After failing to settle the agent, the case was opened again and the 29-year-old has been banned from playing. Inkum's career has taken a nosedive following his move from FC Basel to Dynamo Kiev 7 seasons ago. He has struggled to find his form, which compelled Dynamo Kiev to sign him from the Streets club for $10 million in 2011. The last time that Inkum has featured for the national team was in an international friendly against the Netherlands in Rotterdam in a warm-up game for the 2014 FIFA World Cup. Now to the camp of Accra Asafo. Accra Asafo has announced the signing of defender William Denchi from Liberty Professional. The 18-year-old has penned a long-term contract with the Accra-based club. The left-back is a member of the Black Satellite squad preparing for 2019 African Youth Championship qualifier against Algeria on Sunday. Denchi has come through the ranks, having played for the national under-17 team from 2012 to 2014. He's expected to replace former defender Joshua Utu, who was sacked by the club last month. This player has become the second signing for the Accra-based club in 1 week, following the capture of former Kumasi Asante Kotoko goalkeeper Enes Sua. Now to the big issue. Ghana's President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo has called for the arrest of GFA President Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi. Kwesi Nyantakyi is believed to have been engaged in practice that has brought the name of the presidency into disrepute. According to an underground investigation, the directive follows an expose by ace journalist Anas Armeyao Anas. The latest expose is on corruption in Ghana football and then it is titled The Number 12. Nana Akufo-Addo has ordered the Criminal Investigation Department of the Ghana Police Service to arrest Nyantakyi for using the name of his office into certain purposes. Kwesi Nyantakyi is currently the longest serving FA president in Africa. This is where time will allow me on today's program. My name is Yakubu Ibrahim. You can call me Citizen Rastov. I'll be back in the next episode. Bye.
Wow, some very interesting things coming up on the sports segment. I have to apologize for the low volume. I believe we'll work on that. My man Yakubu is going to work on that on the next episode. But hey, if you didn't hear much, I heard much. Now, is the FA president of Ghana? I mean, he's in deep trouble, man. Like, for those who don't really know the issues here in Ghana, now there's one private investigator. I call him a private investigator. He's called Anas Armeyao Anas, and he's coming out with an expose. He went undercover and came up with some very interesting findings on some corruption that is going on in the GFA, and I think the president has had a chance to see it already before it will be publicized to the entire citizenship of Ghana. And something so not good was seen until the FA president has been called to book. The CID is actually up his tail as we speak. But hey, enough of all of that. I've got some good music on cue. This is from Andy Minio, and he titles this one "Hear My Heart" right here on the Chris K podcast. Let's go.
It's kinda crazy that your name is Chris. Your name is Chris.
Hey, what's up, people of Ghana? This your boy Ernie that you keep listening to Chris.
That's what I need right now in this crazy place. It's crazy. It's not that I did something, it's the fact that I didn't. And I'm so ashamed. It took 25 years just to get it on. Make fun, not just laugh with that was me as a child. I just pray you forgive me. Nah, 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 nah. graduation, that's when I met your friends. And they was all having conversation, but they was saying stuff that I couldn't understand. Then all of a sudden it felt like I understood something I missed my whole life. For the first time I was wearing your shoes, and for the first time I was hearing your views. I never knew how complicated life is when you feel so isolated. And I know we don't speak much, cause when talking got hard, all I ever did was throw the piece up. My big sister Grace, I'm sorry, I never learned to sign. And even though you were born deaf, I pray you forgive me for the years I lived blind. In my heart, 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 in my heart. Sometimes these words aren't enough, so let me show you.
Hi lovely people, this is Evelyn Galianza from Yolo. Keep listening to
Sometimes these words aren't enough, so let me show you. Let me show you. It's kinda crazy. In my heart, in my heart, in my heart. Na 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 na.
Good music, wonderful music coming through from Andy Minio.
In my heart.
Titled this one, Hear My Heart. Listen to the lyrics of the song and you understand deepness, man, Sally. I call this part of the show Enyomde. Sweet music right here on the Chris K podcast. Without wasting much time, it's now time for the part of the show that I love so much. This is the Rise Above It series. And before I get into it, you know, I've got some amazing news. The Rise Above series is going to get out into the streets very, very soon. So it's no longer just going to be on the podcast, but hey, people out there who don't directly have an access to this podcast are also going to have a feel of the Rise Above It series. But we are going to talk about all of that later on. It's now time to actually get into the Rise Above It series. Hashtag Code Ray right here on the Chris K podcast. Wow. Now, everybody knows that when it comes to the Rise Above It series, I get to share some very personal experiences that I believe is going to bless your heart, is going to uplift you. And just like this segment is built, that if you know you've got what it takes to rise above it, then rise above it. Yesterday, I had this amazing, should I call it atmosphere? Should I call it an opportunity? It was by grace that I sat by two brothers, Emmanuel and Daniel. Big ups to you, bro. And we just had that kind of intimate brotherly conversation where we got to share our ideas, where we got to share the stuff that were deep in our hearts and deep in our minds. Sometimes you have these things in heart and you think you're the only one who thinks about it, only for you to find out that, look, there are other people who think like you. There are other people who share and understand your viewpoint. How you wish sometimes you just had the opportunity to sit with people so you could just share your heart out. Hoping and praying that somebody would just listen to you. Somebody would understand you and somebody wouldn't throw you off or shut you down for what you say, but would allow you to speak freely. And even if you make mistakes, that person is ready to correct you in a godly manner. Yesterday, I had that opportunity and I felt so blessed. The whole conversation started off as music, because it was three musicians sitting together, and so definitely music was the order of the day. But later on, here we were talking about God and the scriptures and things we have now begun to understand about Christ, and it was so beautiful an atmosphere. It was just amazing. I don't even know the words to describe it, but maybe you should try it. Not even maybe, you should try it. I don't know if sometimes these things lead you into wanting to find out your friend circle, those you call friends, those who are around you that you call friends, if they're the kinds of people you would want to hang out with, they are the kinds of people you would want to